this new webcam up. Also, webcam, and it looks really nice, doesn't it? Okay. So it looks like this sound is okay. Okay, we good? We good? Okay. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So every time I went up against Death Guard, I always had problems fighting them. Not because their army was particularly good, it's because their army was just too tough to kill. Like, as weird as that is to say, they had that survivability that was just impossible to get through. You had to throw so much at them to kill them. Like, normal bolters are basically worthless in this edition. Poor las guns are practically useless. Poor guard are garbage right now. Unless you just take all tanks, in which case you could just play a better army at a cheaper price. But Death Guard have always been like one of those armies that I don't like them. It kind of looks like somebody who picked their nose and just rubbed it on a Space Marine. Yeah. Yeah. No video? There should be video. Okay, so what's cool about this is they bring back one of the original pieces of art all the way back from Rogue Trader, I believe. Let me see if I can find it. See if I can find it. Yeah! So that's Nurgle. Like that right there, that is actually Nurgle. That's what Nurgle looks like. And you can actually see this in the original books. When they list what's in the picture, they actually flat out state that that is Nurgle. And I think it's so cool because he's one of 3 Chaos Gods that, well, actually all 4 have art. Wait, the chat kind of stopped. Is everything good here? Okay. But yeah, they bring back some of the original art, and it's great. Nurgle, the Great Corruptor. But we're not here for lore, because honestly I don't like the Death Guard's lore. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's keep going. Got some new miniatures in here. Some really cool paint jobs with this Blightlord Terminator that I'm really liking. Like, look at that. Look at that paint job right there. That's such a nice Blightlord Terminator, isn't it? Also, look, this camera can focus. Isn't it great? Oh, I'm so happy with this. Let's keep going through. Let's keep going through. So I was talking to somebody about some of the more recent changes in this book. So the rules for this book actually start on page 37. So that means there's 36 pages of just fluff, which I really feel like they just cut out. I wish they would do the mini codexes that they used to do. Those are so much better in my opinion. They didn't have all this lore in it. It was just the rules, and I really wish they would bring that back. Okay. So then we go into the Combat Patrol and Chapter Approved missions. These are on page 39. So the first rule we run into is No Mercy, No Respite. It's a progressive objective. These are the objective ones that you can get, which are actually kind of cool. Score 3 victory points at the end of a battle round for each enemy that failed a morale test, so practically useless. Actually, morale is really important this edition. I gotta stop saying it's useless because I keep failing them. So it's not bad nowadays, which is kind of interesting. That is one or more models destroyed by attacks made with a plague weapon. All right. Congrats on a new webcam. Yeah, you guys helped support me so much that I was able to actually go out and get a new webcam. So thank you. Like, everybody that donates using Super Chat, you guys actually bought me this new webcam. So it's super nice. Thank you so much. Is the Triumph of St. Catherine good? Yes, it is. Oh my god, yes it is. Then we have Battlefield Supremacy, Despoiled Ground. It's an endgame objective. If you select this objective, you score victory points as followed. Score 4 points at the end of the battle. Oh, thank you for the donation. You're awesome and I love you. You have a very long name, so I'm just going to call you Philosopher. Score 4 victory points at the end of the battle if you have one or more bubonic Astartes. Interesting name there. Units wholly within your opponent's deployment zone, and one or more bubonic Astartes wholly within your deployment zone. Okay, so keep one on a backfield objective and then just push one forward. That actually sounds surprisingly easy because you could just keep a unit of Death Guard in reserve and just pop in like turn 3, turn 4 when the game's, turn 3, when the game's pretty much over with a really cheap unit, and just throw it into your opponent's deployment zone as quickly as possible and just leave it there and get 4 free points for that. Score 4 victory points at the end of the battle if you have one or more bubonic Astartes units from your army wholly within 3 different table quarters. Ooh. So yeah, if you take this in table quarters, you're going to be doing really good. Score 4 victory points at the end of the battle if you control more than half of the total number of objective markers on the battlefield. And they are bubonic Astartes units in your army within 3 inches of those objective markers. Alright, that's pretty good. Do you have a Bio-Titan Tyranid unit? I have all of them. Score 4 victory points at the end of the battle for every objective marker on the battlefield with a contagion range of a contagion ability. Within containment range of a contagion ability. Wow, that is so difficult to say with my accent. Honestly, those are really easy to get. Like, this battlefield supremacy objective is really easy. The next one is spread the sickness. Should have been down with the sickness. That would have been funnier. Just saying. If you select this objective, then a Death Guard infantry unit from your army can perform the following action. Spread the sickness. Action. One unit from your army can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase if it is within 3 inches of an objective marker that has not been contaminated. See below. A unit cannot start this action while there are enemy units, excluding aircrafts, within 3 inches of the objective marker. Good luck with that one. This action is complete at the end of your turn. When this action is complete, you can choose one of the followings. Roll a d6 on a 4+. That objective marker is said to have been contaminated. The unit performing this action suffers d3 mortal wounds, and the objective marker is said to have been contaminated. Okay, so you can attempt to get the 4 up to just hope for it, or you can just get this point and just suffer d3 mortal wounds, which is kind of cool. Score 3 victory points at the end of battle for each objective marker on the battlefield that has been contaminated by a unit from your army. Yeah, these are really good. Like, if you can just pop on over to each objective really quickly, which isn't actually that bad. Yeah, this honestly isn't too bad. These objectives seem easy. I like these objectives. Let's see what the chat is saying. Can you do like a collab with Mini Wargaming or something to see you play a game? I actually did back in 8th edition. I played up against Cork, and he's super cute, and I like him. So then we have our detachment abilities. Ooh. We have plate companies, and plate companies do something. Look at this. Look at all of these rules. This is crazy. Death Guard actually feel like an army instead of just a bunch of booger people. Also, I'm not traveling until I get vaccinated. Just saying. Also, I don't think I can travel outside the country yet. Okay. If your army is Battleforged, Death Guard detachments gain the Diseased Minions, Infernal Jealousy, and Floated Abilities? Okay. Bubonic Astartes units in the Death Guard detachment gain an Inexorable Advance ability. Okay. Plague Marines and Poxwalker units in a Death Guard detachment gain Objective Secured ability. Okay, so finally something that I know. The Death Guard have been getting a real overhaul. Yeah, they really have. Like, there's a ton of stuff in here that's just different. How about your whole guardsman army now? I actually have a list for an entire guardsman army. Yeah, I have a whole list for a guardsman army. Like, I can go in depth on that one. So, diseased minions. You cannot include more plague follower units than bubonic Astartes core infantry units in each Death Guard detachment in your army. Okay, so that's a good way of limiting the demon engines. You cannot include more Poxwalker units than bubonic Astartes infantry units in your Death Guard detachment in your army. Okay, alright. Okay. It's not bad. That actually is a bad. That's actually a pretty big nerf. Because you used to just take a bunch of Poxwalkers, no Death Guard at all, and just demon engines. And that was your list. Infernal Jealousy. You can include a maximum of one Lord of the Death Guard unit in each Death Guard detachment in your army. So this is the limitation on captains. You can include a maximum of one Demon Prince unit in each Death Guard detachment in your army. So no longer can you get Flying Circus. That's actually kind of a big nerf. I don't know, that just doesn't seem that good. Like, are Death Guard good? So the next ability is you can include up to 3 floated Varian units in a Death Guard detachment while only taking up 1 elite battlefield role slot. Ooh, is that like a demon engine? Death Guard is very powerful right now. Mortarion is ridiculously powerful. Mortarion dies turn 1. Like, I'm curious to see, like, if they nerfed him or if they buffed him. So I'll get to that when I get to it. But, like, I've never seen a game where Mortarion lasted more than 2 turns. I like your bat raps with your local gamers. Everyone seems nice. Yeah, I do find, like, the nicest people forever. Let's see. Feasible advance. These units count as remaining stationary. If it did not fall back or advance in the previous movement phase, that's pretty good. If this unit has the vehicle keyword, it does not suffer the penalties incurred to its hit rolls for firing heavy weapons at enemy units that are within engagement range of it. Ooh, that's pretty good. If this unit has the infantry keyword, it can ignore any and all modifiers to its movement characteristic, advance roll, and charge rolls. Ooh, that's really good. Mortarion will not die turn 1. I doubt it. An exorcist will see him dead. If he's under 20 wounds, I can kill him in turn 1. In fact, it only takes an average of 2-3 units to kill him. That's the old Mortarion, so I'm still getting to the new Mortarion. Plague Company, Warlord Trade Stratagems, Relics of Decay. They have their limitations on them, similar to everything else. Then we have the 3 different Plague Companies. I'm assuming there's more. There's 5 Plague Companies, 7 Plague Companies. Yeah, who would have guessed there's 7 Plague Companies? They love their little 7s. I mean, honestly, I like a 7 as well, you know. It's pretty nice. Alright, let's see. The Harbingers, the Wolf of Dead, 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a Poxwalker unit is selected to fight. Until the end of that phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Well, that's pretty decent. Warlord trait is when an enemy unit, excluding a vehicle, oh, that kind of sucks, is within contagion range of a unit. At the start of your opponent's movement phase, roll 1d6, subtracting 1. If the enemy unit is a character, on a 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 6, it suffers d3 mortal wounds. That's kind of terrible. Alright. And their relic is, once per battle at the end of your movement phase, you can select 1 objective marker within 3 inches of the bearer. While the bearer is on the battlefield, that objective marker has the Contagion of Nurgle ability. Ooh, that's really good. and is considered to have all of the same contingent abilities the bearer has. That is really good. All right, let's see what chat is saying. Also, with the new Lord limitations like captains have for Marines, you have to use a Plague Caster or Sorcerer to run a battalion. For the most part, everyone did anyway. You just spam Psychers usually with Death Guard. At least the list that I fought. So keep in mind, this is strictly from my locals experience. I've never faced Death Guard in tournaments because they just were not that good. Back in beginning of 8th when I was doing tournaments. So the next one, the Second Plague Company, has used a stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when a excruciable whatever unit from your army is selected as a target for a charge. Until the end of that phase, subtract 2 from their charge rolls. That's pretty much pointless because you're just going to re-roll it. It's not bad, but typically things that are actually getting into close combat are going to make it and trying to guarantee that charge. With the new Adeptus Custodes book for 9th edition, Adeptus Custodes or Talons of the Emperor. I like Talons of the Emperor a little bit better. Your Warlord has the following ability. Ooh, you don't actually get a choice. Your Warlord just has the following ability. While an enemy unit is within contingent range of this unit, each time an attack is made by a friendly model against that enemy unit, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. That's okay. Once you go past AP -2, it becomes a moot point because anything after that is just going to take an invo save. So yeah. Let's see. The next thing is their relic. Model only. Each time an enemy model is destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by the bearer, select one friendly vehicle model within 18 inches of the bearer. That model regains 1 lost wound. No more than 3 wounds may be regained per turn due to this relic. Alright, that's okay. So far, the 2 of them just don't seem that good. Mortarion's Anvil. I wonder if that's what he calls his codpiece. Anyway, use this stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when an enemy unit finishes a charge move. Select any number of Mortarion's Anvil units in your army that are within 3 inches of an enemy unit. Until the end of that phase, the selected unit are eligible to perform heroic interventions as though they were characters. That's insane, honestly. That's actually really good. Mortarion's just like turning sideways, and anybody who doesn't duck is just getting slammed. It wouldn't be surprising if his... I'm making terrible, terrible jokes about his genitalia. God, it's probably gross with like every... Never mind. Your Warlord has the following ability. Glooming Bloat. When an enemy unit is within contingent range of this unit, that enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch or be set up to defend. Each time a model in that enemy unit makes an attack, the hit roll and wound roll cannot be re-rolled. Okay, so this one's just good. Like, Mortarion's Anvil is just good. And their relic is Mortarion's Anvil model only. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack, you can re-roll the hit rolls, and you can re-roll the wound rolls. Yeah, this one is just the best so far. Like, hands down, the third one is the best. Like, there is nothing bad about this one. The other ones are just kind of like whatever. Okay. So, we still making terrible jokes. It's always the balance that makes things fun. They have units. Is great. Now, the next edition, it gets wrecked by Gretchen. Yeah. Yo, Gretchen are awesome. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. The Wretched. So this is their command point ability. And we have Use the stratagem before the battle. When you are mustering your army, select one wretched psyker model from your army. That model knows one additional psychic power from their chosen discipline. Once per psychic phase, you can re-roll one psychic test taken for this model. So if you're trying to do the psychic ritual, this is really good. You can only use the stratagem once. And then you have the Eater Plague. Okay, I know a few people with this plague already. When an enemy unit is within containment range of this unit, each time an attack is made by a friendly wretched model against an enemy unit, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 automatically wounds the target. That's really solid. Like, that's just hands down really good. Okay, I like that. I mean, more than likely you're putting this on an HQ, so you're already hitting without needing too much, so I'm not too worried about that. Yeah. I think Death Guard are going to be a very hard hit, a very hard army to go up against. The contagion is just so good, along with their -1 damage to each weapon. Well, I gotta get there. So, Relic, the Demon's Favor. I wonder what it's his favor. Like, hey, I owe you a favor? Or is this like, you're my favorite? Wretched Plague Caster model only. The Bearer's Pestilence Fallout ability is replaced with the following ability. Torrent of Putrefaction. Each time this model successfully manifests a psychic power, if the result of the psychic test was 7 or more, the closest enemy unit within 12 inches suffers D3 mortal wounds. Otherwise, the closest unit within 6 inches suffers 1 mortal wound. That's just good. Like, that's just good. Okay. But I'm not seeing anything that's like standing out. Like, Anvil seems like the best so far in my opinion. Okay. So then we have the next one, which is the Poxmongers. That's a hilarious name. I've actually used that kind of name for a heretical cult that worships like Nurgle. So yeah. Okay. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a Poxmonger demon engine unit from your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, models in that unit can make attacks with blast weapons against units within engagement range of their units. Each time a ranged attack is made by a model in that unit against an enemy unit that is within engagement range of that unit, add 1 to the attack rolls. So this is good for very counter-charge armies. Interested to see what they did to the Bloat Drones and Plague Burst Crawler. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that too. Warlord has the following ability. It's Contagion. When an enemy unit is within containment range of a unit, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of a model in that enemy unit. Subtract 1 from the combat attrition test. Ooh, that's actually really good. That's actually pretty decent. Like, if you team these up with like Night Lords and just destroy your opponent's leadership, that could be really, really, really solid. Okay, and the next thing is Poxmonger model only. It's their relic. The bearer gains following ability. In your command phase, you can select 1 friendly Poxmonger demon engine unit within 6 inches of the bearer. Until the start of the next command phase, models in that unit have 4+ info save. So Poxmongers and Mortarion's Codpiece are probably the 2 best. The Ferryman. Ha, that's cool. Come to bring us sugar and tea. Sorry, that just reminded me of Sea Shanty. Epic Deed Stratagem. Use the stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 Ferryman Flotil Verin. I think that just means bloatfly. Model from your army. Then select 1 model. Select 1 of the model's aura abilities. Until the start of the next command phase, add 6 inches to the range of that model's aura abilities to a max of 12. Damn, you can max out a contagion to 12 inches. That's really good. The droning is a contagion. When an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit, at the start of your opponent's movement phase, half the enemy's unit's movement characteristic until the end of the phase. That's a decent warlord trait. That's not great. The Ferryman model is equipped with a Man Reaper only. This relic replaces the Man Reaper with the following profile, and it's pretty decent. It's a Strength +3, AP -3, 2 damage weapon, or as a Scythe, it's a Strength +1, AP -1, 1 damage. It is a plague weapon. And in its cleave profile, each time an attack is made with this weapon, subtract 1 from the attacker's hit rolls. So you hit on 4s, and you make 3 attacks with a scythe. So the scythe is just better. Yeah. Your faith is too strong, brother. Mortarion's chosen sons. Never saw Mortarion as a caring father. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Mortarion chosen son unit from your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of the shooting phase, until the end of that phase, Plague Belchers, Plague Spewer gauntlets, and Plague Spewer models in that unit are equipped with have a damage characteristic of 2. Damn, that's good. Damn, that is good. Okay, your warlord has the following abilities. Nurgle's Fruit. Do I have to make the joke, or is it just a low-hanging fruit? Anyway. When an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit, each time an attack is made by a friendly Mortarion Chosen Sons model against the unit, the target does not receive the benefit of cover from that attack. That's really good. And then their relic is with a Plague Sprayer. So you need a Chosen Son that has a Plague Sprayer, and you replace it with this. Its range is 12 inches. It's Assault 7, Strength 7, AP -3, 2 damage. It automatically hits its targets, so it's really, 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 really good. And it's a plague weapon, so it's amazing. So there's like 3 of them that are pretty good, in my opinion. You have the Poxmongers, the Chosen Sons, and Mortarion's Anvil. Alright, so those are the 3 that I just think are flat out just good. Like, there's nothing bad about them. They are just strictly good. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, use that super chat feature. It goes a long way to helping me out. It actually bought me this brand new webcam, and now you can see my mess behind me, including my work table and my work table. I have a lot of work to do. Alright. So, we have stratagems. Who doesn't love stratagems? Believe it or not, I do most of my games without using a single stratagem. I just use the reroll. Mostly because I forget. Other times it's because I don't need them. Okay, so how many pages of stratagems do we have? Goddamn, that's a lot. Or in this case, gods. All right. Okay. Also, I am wearing super cute boots. Just saying. Super cute boots. Alright. Trench Fighters, 1 command point. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Death Guard Plague Marine unit from your army is selected to fight until the end of the phase. Each time a model in that unit fights, if it is equipped with any Plague Knives, make 1 additional attack with that weapon. Neat! Okay, Creeping Blight. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Death Guard unit from your army is selected to fight. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack with a plague weapon, an unmodified wound roll of a 6, has an armor penetration characteristic of 4. Damn, that's good. Fire Fever. Okay. Use the stratagem in the shooting phase when a Death Guard Hellbrute unit model from your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, that model can only target a single eligible enemy unit, and each time an attack is made by that model, add 1 to the attacker's hit rolls and add 1 to the attacker's wound rolls. Wow, they made Hellbrutes actually good. Vermid Whispers. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a Death Guard Terminator unit from your army is selected to shoot, or in the fight phase when a Death Guard Terminator unit from your army is selected to fight. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack roll, add 1 to the attack roll. That's also really good. Hitting on 2s with Terminators? That's amazing. And they're toughness 5 Terminators, so they're really good. Any favor mention on the Drukhari in the last Codex? I have no idea. Also, this is my first time participating in any Norn Queen's live stream. Hello. Well, hi. Hope you're doing well. Need more info on the sassy Nurgling? Yes, we do. We need more sassy Nurglings. Okay. Haze of Corruption. That sounds like something that would be in Slaaneish's army. Oh well. Let's see what we got. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a Death Guard core unit from your army is selected to fight. Until the end of this phase, each time an enemy model is destroyed by an attack made by a model in this unit, any excess damage inflicted by an attack is not lost, but instead suffered by another model. Holy crap! That's intense. Wow, that is good. So Death Guard Terminators are going to be insane. Hello, good night. Combi Bolter or Combi Melta? I like Combi Meltas. Eternal Hatred. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Bubonic Astartes infantry unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight in the fight phase. When a Bubonic Astartes infantry unit from your army is selected to fight, until the end of that phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the attack and wound roll. How is this even fair? You're spending 5 command points to guarantee the death of anything. This is 5 command points for Terminators to literally kill anything in the game. Hitting on 2s. Rerolling because you have a Lord nearby. Guaranteeing damage spilling over. Adding 1 to wound rolls and hit rolls. You're literally never missing. That's crazy. Okay, let's continue. Mutant Strain. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a Poxwalker unit from your army is selected to fight. Until the end of that phase, each time an attack is made by a model in that unit, an unmodified roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. An unmodified hit roll of a 1 inflicts 1 mortal wound to the Poxwalker after the fighting is resolved. Yeah, it's okay. The next one is Disease Effluence? Whatever. Use a stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 Death Guard character model from your army, excluding a demon model. Wow, that's rude. Just exclude the demon prince like that. And 1 enemy unit within engagement range of that model. That model suffers 1 mortal wound, and then you roll on a d6. On a 2+, that enemy suffers 2d3 mortal wounds. If that enemy unit does not, if that enemy unit has a character keyword, excluding a vehicle unit, it suffers d3 mortal wounds instead. Damn! Yo, Death Guard are tight as hell. But you're going to want to, like, spend no command points just so you can burn through all of this at once on turn 1, 2, and 3. Okay. The next one, Unclean Machine Spirit. Dirty Machine Spirit. Anyway, use the stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 Death Guard Machine Spirit model from your army. Select 1 Land Raider model from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, that model is considered to have its full wounds remaining for the purposes of determining what characteristic is on its profile to use. There's nothing else in the Death Guard that has Machine Spirit, is there? I think it's literally just a Land Raider. Okay, the next one is use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Death Guard character model from your army is selected to fight. Until the end of that phase, each time an enemy model unit is destroyed by an attack made by this model, roll a d6 on a 3+. That enemy model unit suffers 1 mortal wound after your model has resolved its attacks. Jeez. Plague Burst Crawler. Oh, does the Plague Burst Crawler have Machine Spirit? Okay. Might be worth it then. Release the toxins. Release the lava. Use a stratagem in the command phase. Select 1 Death Guard character model from your army that was equipped with a Relic of Decay. Page 50. At the start of the battle, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 7 inches of that model. At the start of the battle? What? How? Everything's 9 inches away. Okay, whatever. On a 2 through 5, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and on a 6, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. A model can only be selected to use the stratagem once per battle. Okay. Machine Spirits, lights candle. Yeah, but it's a dirty Machine Spirit. Use the stratagem in any phase when a Death Guard model from your army is destroyed. Instead of using other rules that trigger when a model is destroyed, like Putrid Explosion, but before removing the model from play, roll a d6 for each unit within 3 inches, excluding Nurgle units. On a 2 through 5, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 6, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Cool, so it just like explodes just to kill enemy units and not Death Guard units. It's actually something from their older rules back in like 3rd edition. Champions of Disease. Use the stratagem before the battle when you muster your army. When you muster your army. Guys, you gotta muster your army. If I don't see at least 3 condiments on them, I don't know. It's gotta be like mustard, ketchup, and relish, okay? Sorry, that's a stretch of a joke, and I apologize for that one. Blah, 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 blah. Each relic in your army must be unique. So it's a thing that just lets you take multiple relics. Use a stratagem before the battle when mustering your army. If your warlord has a Death Guard keyword, select 1 Death Guard character model from your army and give them a Relic of Decay. Must be different. Each relic in your army must be unique, and you cannot use this stratagem to give a model 2 relics. You can only use this stratagem once. Unless you are playing a Strike Force battle, so 2,000 points, in which case you can use this stratagem twice, or an Onslaught, in which case you can use this stratagem 3 times. Damn. Okay. Plague Chosen. Use the stratagem before the battle when mustering your army. If your warlord has a Death Guard keyword, select 1 Death Guard character model from your army, excluding a named character, and determine 1 warlord trait. Wow, you could just get a ton of warlord traits and a ton of relics in this game, in this army. Holy crap, there's still so many to go through. We're not even to the models yet. Damn, there's a lot in this. Guy looks kind of cute. I like your corny jokes. You know, my jokes are the corniest. They have no nutritional value whatsoever, and I pretty much feed the blood god himself. Hey Alexis, how are you doing? Hey, why do you bully Typhus so much? I don't get the joke there. I don't think I've bullied Typhus, I just don't like him as a character, and I think he's really bad. Okay. That's a lot of stratagems to go over. Damn, that's a lot. Use the stratagem before the battle. When you are mustering your army, select 1 Death Guard Chaos Spawn unit from your army. Yo, Chaos Spawn, yes! You're very cute. It's interesting. Aw, thank you. Add 1 to the toughness characteristic of that model in that unit. That unit has the disgustingly resilient ability. I wonder if you could still choose a mark that's different than Nurgle. If that unit contains 3 or fewer models, this stratagem costs 1, otherwise it costs 2. It's not good. It's not worth it. It's just bad. Okay. I should probably take my feet off my desk. What is your take on the Death Guard in general? I don't like their lore. I think their lore is pretty bad. It's very poorly written. Their entire story of their fall is basically all of Mortarion's fault for being weak. Mortarion's best characteristic is that he's petty. He's upset that Daddy Emperor actually, like, saved him. I really don't like that pretty much every Chaos character is just upset that Daddy doesn't favor them too much, or Daddy didn't save their toys. Like Angron, for instance. Daddy didn't save my friends. Well, I'm sorry. If I saw my kid about to die surrounded by a bunch of his kids, even if I had backup, I would save my kid first. Just saying. Mortarion flew to Terra and was all like, oh, well, some of the guys on my ship are getting sick. Damn it. And then the Death God appeared before him and is just like, hey, I can get rid of that sickness, but you have to fall to me. A cool Primarch would have just been like, you know what? You're right. And just died right there with his entire legion. Like, if that was Sanguinius, he would have died heroically with his legion. But no. No, not Mortarion. Mortarion can't do that. He is so goddamned petty that he's freaking... He gives up to Nurgle just because he's mad at his daddy for saving him. And it's just like, the lore is so stupid. And then on top of that, he builds an exact replica of the Imperial Palace and makes it 7 centimeters taller than the Imperial Palace. Good job, Mortarion. That's a real good way of, like, sticking it to your dad. Also, thank you, Black Roses, for supporting the channel. You're awesome and I love you. Let's get back to these petty little booger boys. These are pretty much the Magic the Gathering players of 40k. Use a stratagem in the fight phase or in the shooting phase when a Death Guard model from your army makes an attack with a plague weapon. That scores a hit against an enemy unit. Until the end of the turn, each time an attack roll is made by a Death Guard model against the enemy unit, reroll wound rolls of 1. So see, you guaranteed damage against enemy units with this army. It's pretty decent so far. I actually felt bad for Angron. Angron's just a big-ass moron. I'm sorry. That dude is just whack, and he's weak as hell. He basically ruins every plan that he goes into. He's the reason that Chaos lost their invasion. He's basically just screws up everything, and nobody likes him. For screwing up everything. The only one that he has on his side is Latara Sarin, and she's amazing. Let's see. Belching fumes. Use a stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select one Blight Hauler, Mephitic Blight Hauler unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, each time an enemy model makes an attack with a ranged weapon against this unit, reduce the number of attacks made with that weapon by 1. Ooh. That's actually really good. Didn't Angron have nails in his brain? Yeah, he also had a foot up his ass. Anyway. Use a stratagem in your command phase. If a Death Guard warlord from your army is on the battlefield, select one point on the battlefield and place a marker on that point. At the start of your next command phase, roll a d6 for each unit within 6 inches of the center of that marker. Add 1 to that unit being rolled wait, what? That's actually what this says. Roll a d6 for each unit within 6 inches of the center of that marker, adding 1 if that unit being rolled for is an infantry unit, and subtract 1 if they're a character. On a 2 through 6, they suffer d3 mortal wounds. On a 7+, they suffer d6 mortal wounds. That marker is then removed For your warlord has the blah 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 keyword. This stratagem costs 2, otherwise it costs 3. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Lotara Sauron was even more bloodthirsty than Angron. Yes, she was. She's my cute little buttercup, and leave her alone. I love her forever. The Dead Walk again. Use this stratagem in your command phase. Select one Poxwalker unit from your army and roll 7d6 for each 3+ that unit. For each 3+, one of the unit's destroyed models is added back to that unit with 1 wound remaining. Models added back to that unit in this way can be set up within engagement range of an enemy unit that they are already within engagement range of. Each unit can only be selected for this stratagem once per battle. That's 1 CP to do that. I would like to hear your opinion on Fulgrim. Fulgrim is a tragedy, and I absolutely love Fulgrim. Magnus is an idiot. Kurz is even worse. Somehow he's worse than all of the other Primarchs. He's just... Like when ADB wrote him, he was really good. When anybody else wrote him, he was just edgy McEdgy. He was just dumb. I didn't like him. Let's see. Cloud of Flies. Use this stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select one Bubonic Astartes infantry unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, each time an enemy model shoots, if that unit is not the closest visible and closest eligible target within 12 inches of that model, then that unit's shooting is resolved. That model cannot target that unit. Okay, so they essentially gain the character keyword. If it's Terminators, it's 2 CP. Oh, wait, what? That model cannot target the unit. In addition, somebody's screaming outside. Until the end of the phase, if the selected unit has the bodyguard ability, it will lose that ability. If the selected unit has the Terminator keyword, this stratagem costs 4 points instead of 2. Damn. Why are you afraid to swear in your videos? Because my nieces and nephews watch them. Strictly the only reason. Break the Spirit. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a Death Guard Terminator model from your army destroys a model in an enemy infantry, beast, or swarm unit. That until the end of the turn, subtract 4 from the leadership characteristic of models in that unit. That's really freaking good. That's really, 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 really solid. Okay. Dark Cravings. It's like me at 3 in the morning when I walk to my fridge and eat a slice of cheese for no reason. Or eat candy at like 4 in the morning and then wonder why I can't sleep. Use the stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. Select one bloat drone, footed bloat drone unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, if that unit is within 6 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically of an enemy unit, it is eligible to perform a heroic intervention as though it were a character. When doing so, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3. All rules still apply. That's actually really good. Okay. Demonic Gluttony. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a Death Guard Demon Engine unit from your army is selected to fight. Until the end of the turn, end of the phase, each time an enemy model is destroyed by an attack made by this model, that Demon Engine model regains 1 lost wound to a maximum of 3. It's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. Then we got Flesh Outbreak. I don't even want to think about what that means. Just Flesh Outbreak. Go ahead and think about that one. If there are any other Plague Company units from your army on the battlefield that have the Contagion ability, see page 63, then the selected unit does not have, then until the start of your next command phase, the selected unit has all of the same Contagion abilities. This is not in addition to the ones it already knows. Until the start of the next command phase, units from your army count as the battlefield Holy cow, my tongue is twisted. Until the start of your next command phase, units from your army count the battle round number as the highest than the current battle round number for the purposes of determining the contagion abilities. Whew. That is so annoying. Flesh-eating virus. I could see it. But I just imagine that they just throw like a pound of jelly at you. Kind of like Majin Buu where he throws his flesh around. Or you happen to find something that's fleshy that they don't want you to find. Okay. Putrid Detonation. Use a stratagem in any phase when a Death Guard vehicle model in your army is destroyed. Do not roll to see if the model explodes. It does so automatically. If that model has wound characteristics of 9 or less, this stratagem costs 1 CP. Otherwise, it costs 2 CP. That's pretty good considering that you can actually combine it with that other ability before you explode. Where is it? Where is it? I saw it earlier. But essentially, you can make your vehicle explode twice. Foul Smokescreen. Use this stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when a Death Guard Smokescreen unit from your army. Yeah, you just get -1 to hit for using your smoke launchers. Do virus bombs work on Tyranids? Yeah, once. That's it. Then it takes the Tyranids just one time to grab that and get an immunity to the virus itself. Which is why when they used a virus against the Tyranids in Dawn of War 2 was actually a huge mistake. Like, virus bombing doesn't work against Tyranids more than once. You only get one shot at it, and you have to kill off the entire swarm before they can get a taste of the virus. Which is hard to do because if they get to the guy get to the person that made the virus, or somebody who has knowledge of the virus or knowledge of the symptoms of the virus, they can build up an immunity just for knowing that person. The Blightening. That's an interesting word. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. Select up to 3 Death Guard models from your army until the end of the phase. Plague weapons with the grenade type in those models are equipped with lose the blast ability and have type characteristic of Pistol 6. Each time that model makes an attack with one of these weapons against an enemy unit within engagement range, that attack automatically hits the target. That's nasty. Okay. Like cockroaches? Cockroaches aren't actually that immune to things. Overwhelming Generosity. This is me. Except this ability is not me. But that word is. Yeah. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Death Guard core unit from your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, bolt weapons, see page 88, models in that unit are equipped with have the Plague ability, which also means that you can combine the other ability to make plague weapons go over. The other, the perfect counter to Tyranids? No. No, there is no counter to Tyranids. That's the scary thing about them. They'll eventually win. There's enough bodies, they'll eventually win. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a Death Guard core unit from your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of that phase, bolt weapons... Oh, I already read that one. I'm done. The next one is use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Plague Burst Crawler model from your army is selected to shoot. Until the end of that phase, each time that model makes an attack with a Plague Burst Mortar, that attack has a damage characteristic of 3+. After that model has shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of the attacks with the Plague Mortar. By this model that turn, roll a d6 for each other unit within 3 inches, excluding Nurgle units, of the selected unit. On a 4+, they suffer 1 mortal wound. That's actually pretty good, too. So we finally made it past the damn stratagems. I'm going to take a minute, read some of the chat really quickly, see what's going on. Counter to the Tyranids is the Necrons and weaponized science, plus they can't digest metal. Incorrect. They actually can digest metal. In fact, they use it for their spaceships. Source for this is the Battlefleet Gothic Core rulebook. The reason that they ignore Necrons is 1, because there's no biomass to be had. 2, they have Blackstone, and Blackstone can actually negate the shadow in the warp. Or it can super amplify it. Tyranids ignore it simply because they don't quite understand it. So, there you go. Yeah, Tyranids just don't like Necrons. There's no real gain for them. They'll eventually come back and kill them, but until then, they don't need to. Necrons are probably the best fight Tyranids with, or Demons. Demons are actually one of the worst, because Tyranids will actually just kill all the humans around them, and then the Shadow and the Warp will just dissipate demons. See High Fleet Cronus, I think that's the High Fleet. Which, there's one of the High Fleets that's designed strictly to kill them. How strong do you think Chaos will be this edition? Not very. Death Guard seem pretty strong, but I think they're going to be a little bit under Space Marines. I forgot, did High Fleet enter the Eye of Terror? Yes, it has. High Fleet has also been corrupted by Chaos, but they just destroyed it and moved on. The purest form of cancer. Thank you so much for the $5. Hey, just tuned in. So the Death Guard are scary as they were rumored to be. Yes. But they have like one really big turn of doing everything. And if you could just wade back from that and just shoot them, it seems like they don't really have too much to answer that. Off subject, but do you think that the Sassy Nurgling, I can't find it for sale. I have no idea. If a Nid is killed by a Necron weapon, is the biomass lost? Technically, the biomass is disintegrated, so it is not lost, its form just changes, which the Tyranids can then reabsorb and use. But the Necron weapons work kind of like a vacuum cleaner, according to 3rd edition, but most of 3rd edition actually got retconned, so keep that in mind. But it would pull the atoms back into the weapon itself. If that is still the case, then no, the Tyranids wouldn't have their biomass. But as we saw from the new 9th edition trailer, their weapons no longer just suck in atoms, it just vaporizes. Do High Fleets communicate with each other? Yes, they do. They even attack each other and eat each other on occasion. I'm still waiting on the new kill team rules, since that is all I play. Yeah, they haven't done that. I have the same Overwatch loot box, coin bank. Nice. Yeah, I also have a cup. Like, see? Boop. Overwatch. I love Overwatch. Okay, let's get back to it. Deadly pathogens. Interesting. Look at all this fancy text. Honestly, it's kind of cool that it's all colored text and everything. So, Death Guard are looking like, so far from what I'm seeing, is Terminators are a must-take. Yeah, Terminators look like the must-include, in my opinion. Okay, so, if your army is battle-forged and includes any Death Guard detachments, excluding auxiliary detachments, super heavy auxiliary detachments, fortification network detachments, then when you're mustering your army, you can upgrade any of the following models in your army by giving them a deadly pathogen. Death Guard character models only. Bubonic Astartes models must have the word champion in their profile. Okay, so they have to be champions in order to get them. Each time you give a model a deadly pathogen, select one of their plague weapons, see page 88, that model is equipped with to be upgraded. This cannot be a grenade weapon or relic. In addition to the effects listed by the deadly pathogen, see below, add one to the strength characteristic of that weapon. The power rating of that model's unit is increased by 1 if you are playing a matched play game or is or a game that uses points limits, then the point value of the model's units is also increased by the amount shown on the table below. Make a note on your army roster each time you give a model a deadly pathogen, as well as with that model's equipped weapon has been upgraded with. Named characters cannot be given pathogens. Nobody guessed. I'm going to skip the Crusade stuff. Okay, so we got Acidic Milady. It's Melody, but it looked like Milady, so I'm going to call it Milady. Explosive Diarrhea. It's Explosive Outbreak. Coronavirus. It's a fever. Baffling Runoff. That's disgusting. Unstable Sickness. Corrosive Fever. And various viscous death. Neat. Okay, improve the armor penetration characteristic of this weapon by 1. That's it for that one. Explosive Outbreak. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 and 6 scores 1 additional hit. This is not cumulative. With the Tollkeeper ability. Ooh, okay. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound. Okay, doesn't seem worth it. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against this weapon. Doesn't really seem worth 20 points. Unstable Sickness. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if any enemy models are destroyed by that attack, roll a d6. On a 4+, that model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound to a max of 3. The bearer cannot be selected for cannot be selected for that one stratagem that maxes them out. Corrosive Filth. Each time an attack is made with this weapon against a vehicle, add 1 to the damage characteristic of that attack. And then the last one, each time you roll to determine the number of attacks made with this weapon, you can re-roll the results. So those seem pretty decent, not great, but pretty decent. Let's go ahead and read. Love your style, battle reports, everything you do, girl. Stay strong. Well, thank you. Bathwater runoff. Yep. Gentleman nurgling, be like milady. I can imagine like all of freaking the Black Templar saying milady. Like every time they pass like a freaking sister of battle, they're just like milady. Let's see. Oh, thank you for the donation. You're awesome and I love you. A Lady of Deception. Nice name. Here, have a coffee and a cake. First time joining live. Petty, it's the big cough Marines, right? Right? Okay. Now we have Warlord traits. And as we know from before, a lot of the Warlord traits are predetermined, which kind of sucks, but it's kind of cool at the same time. So the first one is... Oh, thank you for the $2 donation. You're awesome and I love you. Revolting Resilience. Each time your Warlord would lose a wound, roll a d6. On a 5+, that wound is not lost. So old, disgustingly resilient. Living Plague. It's an aura ability. While an enemy unit is within 3 inches of this Warlord, a unit cannot be affected by its aura abilities. That unit cannot be affected by aura abilities, excluding those that are psychic powers. Interesting. Alright. Hey, I like DG. My main army, actually. Well, I mean, you can like your Booger Magic the Gathering players. Hulking Physique. Add 1 to the wounds characteristic of this Warlord. Each time an attack is made against this Warlord, an unmodified wound roll of a 1 through 3 fails. So he gains transhuman physiology, essentially. Which is actually really good on a Demon Prince, but it also means that he goes up to 10 wounds and can be targeted. So really, really need to pick where you put this. Arch Contaminator. Each time a model with this unit, each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack with a plague weapon, you can re-roll the wound roll. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack with a plague weapon, that target unit within 12 inches, you can reroll the wound roll. Rotted Constitution. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of the Warlord. Each time an attack is made with an armor penetration characteristic of 1 or -2 is allocated to this Warlord. This attack has an armor penetration characteristic of 0 instead. Foul Effluence. When an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord at the end of your movement phase, roll 1d6 for each unit. On a 4+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. And the only 2 named characters they have in here are Typhus and Mortarion. I do love that Mortarion's name literally is just the moron. Like, can we talk about that for a second? Alright, let's see. Join late, rough day at the firehouse. Oh, I hope the best for you. You're a sight for sore eyes. Oh, thank you. Going to watch this from the beginning after 2 showers. Yeah, I can imagine. Alexis, is it possible to win a 2,000-point game with nothing but guardsmen? No. I'll donate 100 if you play a match with that premise. If I had 100 guardsmen, I would definitely play that match and try my best to win. But honestly, to do that, it would be very difficult. Like, very difficult. I would have to take nothing but, like, veteran squads, heavy weapon squads. Is that doable? Could I actually do that? Ah, now you got me thinking. I think I actually could win. With 100 guardsmen in a 2,000-point game, I can actually double that to 200 guardsmen. And... Ooh, now you got me big brain thinking. Now, is it strictly guardsmen, or is it just, like this depends. Like, I can max out heavy weapons, and I can max out plasma and melta weapons. So it's just guardsmen. I think I could win that if I had the army. Like, I don't have a guardsman army of 100 miniatures. So if somebody were to give me that and you gave me that donation, that would be amazing. And I won, and I played that game, I could probably win. I'd have to pick out my opponent very carefully. Because I could not go up against a tier 1 army. I'd have to go up against, like, Orks, Tyranids, Guard, or various other things. I think I could win that. Like, I really think I could win that. Let's see. Alright, so makes me wonder what will happen to Demons. Nurgle, yeah, they'll probably all get the same saves and everything, so Demons are probably coming up soon for an update. Alright. So, God, there's so many freaking little rules to go over. Ooh, that looks cool as hell. Aw, he looks cute. Alexis, how can you subs battle you? If you're in Games U, in Gilbert, Arizona, you can actually play against me. And if you are already in Arizona, just message me. And you have to be 2 weeks cleared of any type of sickness in any which way possible. We have a lot of rules that you have to follow. Okay. So I'm going to skip over the relics and just go straight to the contagion disciplines, just because this is going to go on for like 3 hours if I don't. So yeah. Alexis, do you have an AOS army as well? I have 3. I have Daughters of Cain, I have Slanesh, and I have Khorne. Okay. So I just want to, I'm going to skip over and just go to the miniatures that actually changed. Chaos boons, battle traits. This is all crusade rules, crusade rules, crusade rules. Then it goes into this, which has one of the coolest converted demon princes I think I've ever seen. And this is the first time in a long time that they actually included a conversion in a Codex picture. This actually is impressive to me because this is not a normal demon prince. Like, you cannot make that demon prince out of what is present there. So that's a full-on conversion, and I think that's really cool. Okay, Contagion of Nurgle. We need to go over this. So the contagion goes from battle round 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes from 1 inch, 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches. Okay? Alright, so if every unit from your army has a Death Guard keyword, excluding unaligned units, they gain the following abilities. Nurgle's Gift, Contagion. When an enemy unit is within contagion range, subtract 1 from their toughness. This means that Death Guard wounds sisters on a 2. Just putting that out there. This means that they wound Space Marines on a 3 on average. Necrons on a 3 on average. They lowered the toughness of tanks so their meltaguns are more effective. This also means that no matter what, if you get into close combat with them, they're wounding you easier. Just saying. Astartes and Russian Badger got me interested in 40k. Well, I'm glad you're here. Russian Badger is amazing. Astartes is really good. Okay, so deployment abilities, Teleport Strike. Oh, here's the Disgustingly Resilient ability. Each time an attack is allocated to a model with this in this unit, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. That's actually really good because that's an automatic damage just gone. It's not as good as Disgustingly Resilient, but at the same time, the old Disgustingly Resilient, but at the same time, it's really good. So, yeah. Alright, let's see, what else do they have? Plague weapons. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, reroll wound rolls of 1. Ridiculously good. Each time a combat attrition test is taken for this unit, ignore any modifiers. So they essentially got Fearless. Merciless volleys. The shooting model's target does not have so that's just bolter discipline. Okay, so we can go on and finally get on to the miniatures themselves, because holy crap, it took us a while to get here and I had to skip a few things. So sorry, I'm not going over the relics, but I want this video to be under like 4 hours. Actually, just under 2 hours. That's my goal anyway. So, Demon Prince of Nurgle, movement of 8, weapon and ballistic skill 2+, strength 7, which is actually really good. It's stronger than a Hive Tyrant. Toughness 6, wounds 8, which means you can up it to wounds 9 and make it so that you only wound it on a 4+. Leadership 10, 3+ save, and it has all of its various attacks and everything, all of its weapons. Pretty much, I would just go with maybe the Hellforged Sword. Just seems like the best because it goes up to strength 8 and give it wings. And that's really all you need to do. And reroll hit rolls of 1 for core units. Oh no, you're just affecting core units, which also means you don't affect yourself, do you? Nope, Demon Princes no longer affect themselves. That is good to know because that's going to affect how I play Slanesh in the future. Because I'm really hoping like they still keep that ability. Typhus Mary, or Typhoid Mary. Movement of 5, weapon and ballistic skill 2+, strength of 4, toughness of 5, wounds of 6, attacks of 6, which is ridiculously good. Leadership 9, 2+ save, because he's in Terminator armor. He's in Cataphracti Terminator armor too. Maybe a little too strong from what I've seen. Ooh, I'm curious about that. So he's got his Cleave and Scythe, which we went over before. Disease Terminator armor, he has a 4+ invulnerable save. The Destroyer host, in your command phase, you can select one enemy unit within 6 inches of this model, roll a d6 on a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Gee. The amount of mortal wounds that you can spit out with these guys is insane. Elite armies are going to die. Like, Space Marines are not going to survive against these guys. My sisters should be fine, but mostly because of the amount of bodies I take. Are Imperial Saints like Celestine essentially Demon Princes of the Emperor? No, absolutely not. Remlace is wrong. They are physical. They are actual beings. They are reborn and reincarnated, and they actually exist. They are in the anathema to demons. They literally they destroy demons. They don't banish demons, they destroy demons. They are the exact opposite of a demon. It's the same with the Legion of the Damned. They're just resurrected people. No. Yeah. Read Celestine. It goes over all of that. They're essentially perpetuals, but when the Emperor chooses them to come back to life. Because the Emperor has sway over his domain. Okay. Angels? No, they're not like angels. Well, depends what mythos you take angels from, but Christianic angels are just horrifying. They look like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Let's see. Lord of the Death Guard, Aura ability. It's essentially just reroll ones. It's the same as the Demon Prince. Vector of Disease, add 3 inches to the contagion range of all contagion abilities. This model has to a maximum of 12 inches. Damn, he's starting it off with a 4. Is there any chapter tactics that counter the whole mortal wound thing? Not that I can think of. Like, not any that I play anyway. So the Death Guard Chaos Lord, which is always fun. Movement of 6, weapon and ballistic skill 2+. It's kind of weird that he has a movement of 6 and everybody else has a movement of 5, but sure. I feel like that was an error. Because the Death Guard Chaos Lord, Terminator armor. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Same stat line as what we used to seeing. Has options. Kind of just a Chaos Lord in general. The Lord of Voltris? Valve? Whatever. This is the dude with the heavy weapon that you can get in the new stuff. What's weird about him is he's in Indomitable armor for his Terminator armor, if you see right here. That's the newest set of Terminator armor. Alright, so let's see, what does he do? Twin Plague Spearer, heavy 2d6, strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage. It's a plague weapon. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, it automatically hits his target. And he's got the Plague Claw, so he's got a power weapon. He's got a Power Fist with a... excuse me. He's got a Power Fist with 2 damage, which is really good. He's also got a Twin Plague Spear. This model is just good. Like, why would you not take him? He's just strictly good. I mean, he's an HQ, but... yeah. So you're going to take a Lord of Contagion, him, and maybe a Chaos Lord or a Demon Prince. Let's see. Lord of Contagion, stat line that we're used to, 5, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6. 6 attacks instead. Leadership 9, 2+ save because he's in Terminator armor. He's in the newest set of Terminator armor. I'm pointing this out because it's actually important. Because there's Tartarus armor, Kitty Cat Terminator armor, and then there's Indomitable armor. Newer models, I thought Termies armor wasn't made anymore. Yes, it is. It's made by the thousands. So 40K's lore is basically, we don't know how to make this. We make this. For case in point, see my Everything Wrong With series, especially the one about dreadnoughts. It's silly. You can have 1 lord per detachment. Ooh, are they all lords? Let's see. You're Lord of Contagion and Lord of the Death Guard. You're Lord of the Death Guard. You're Lord of the Death Guard. Okay. Oh, that's... That's a tough call, then. I don't know. I think I would take the one with the heavy weapon. Like, that heavy weapon just seems good. And a Power Fist. Like, honestly, this new guy just seems better than the other ones. Although you could do a jump pack and, do the Legends options, get a jump pack on a Lord. Seems a bit better, in my opinion, because you can do Lord Thunderhammer, make a Smash Captain, essentially. There is Tartarus Terminator armor for being a rare vision. Yeah. So then we have a Chaos Sorcerer, Death Guard Sorcerer, and Terminator armor. Same stat line as we're used to seeing. He can manifest 2 psychic powers and deny any 1 psychic power. And then you got the Malignant Plague Caster, who I think is really good. Nothing really changed about him. Each time a model successfully manifests a psychic power, if the result was a 7 or more, the closest enemy unit within 12 inches suffers 1 mortal wound. Okay, so this army is very mid-range, and I really like that. So then we have the Plague Marines themselves, and they have a ton of options. Like, legit, if you want, take a look at this real quick, okay? That's all their options. Look at all of these freaking options. Kind of wish Intercessors had all of this. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of this. I know all of their weapons can be changed out. They're essentially a tactical squad. Hey Alexis, glad you're staying safe while you're able to play some 40k. What are your thoughts on the PM's restriction to what only comes on their boxes? In their boxes? PMs? Primaris Marines? I don't know what PMs mean, because I'm thinking private message. Or Primaris Marines. Or Plague Marines. Is it Plague Marines? I need to know what that PM means. Plague Marines. Okay. What are your thoughts on the Plague Marines restrictions to what only comes in their boxes? That makes sense. Let me be real quick. You still get all the Legends options. Like, all the options here are not all of the options. You still have all of the options from Legends. So you can actually switch up their war gear like crazy. But this is what they want for more of tournament play. Which I agree with. Tournament play needs to be organized and needs to have restrictions on it in place to make sure that you don't actually like break the game and make the game too hard to balance. But in casual play, which is matched play, open play, and things of that nature, you can just take how you want it and build it how you want based on the rules for Legends and this. Which I really like what they're doing with the Legends thing. I didn't like it at first until they changed it recently, and I really liked it. But them being restricted to what's on the box art actually makes a lot of sense for one reason. It's really easy for everyone to get access to everything they need. Have you seen the Space Marine options? Yes, I have. Unless that comment wasn't for me. Okay. Oh, they changed them to Death Guard Cultists. Nice. I'm almost out of drink. So Death Guard Cultists can go up to units of 30, which you take them as units of 10 because they're dirt cheap. They're only 2 power level. God damn. Although you might want to take Poxwalkers instead. Chaos, Nurgle, Death Guard, Infantry, Plague Followers, Cultists. So they still have the Cultist keyword, which is good. Okay. Let's see. They pretty much are terrible. They're cultists, after all. You don't upgrade them at all. But the Poxwalkers are actually pretty decent. They're toughness 4 now, which is actually insane. And I hate the fact that a derpy looking thing that's a rotting corpse, has a toughness value of 4, and Sisters of Battle don't. Just saying, Sisters need that toughness 4, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but I have all the Dark Heresy books literally right next to me. Sisters' toughness and strength actually increase when you put the armor on. So if you want to fight me on that, I have literally all of the lore behind me. Just saying. Just saying. Can Chaos Space Marines take autocannons? Yes, they can. Devastate, or their Havocs can. Curse of the Walking Pox. Each time a melee attack is made with this unit, if an enemy model is destroyed, excluding a vehicle or a monster, one of the units destroyed model is added back to it with 1 wound remaining. Models added back to this unit in this way can be set up within set up with an engagement range of a unit they already engaged with. Ooh, so they auto get back guys. That's kind of cool. Mindless Horde. This unit cannot perform actions. Okay, that makes them that's really funny. Excluding Spread the Sickness. In addition, this unit is included in part of your Crusade force. I don't care anymore. Fodder. Each time a morale test is taken for this unit, it is automatically passed. Wait, why is that called fodder? If it's automatically passed, that's amazing. Unyielding Horde. Each time a model in this unit would lose a wound, roll a d6. On a 6, that wound is not lost. Why do these guys have better Disgustingly Resilient than the other ones? Lore-wise, their sisters as tough as Marines, because then T4 Marines... okay, so lore doesn't actually... So the toughness 4 for Marines is strictly for game balancing. Like, in all fairness, they should have, like, toughness 5 to toughness 6. And then their captain should have, like, toughness 7 to toughness 8. Because a single captain can go toe-to-toe with a Demon Prince and win. They can actually go toe-to-toe with a Keeper of Secrets. Like... And I have all the books to back me up on this. But yeah. Like, for instance, a Bonehead from a Bulgrin unit killed a Trigon, no, a Moloch, by headbutting it. Just saying. Sisters should not be as tough as Marines. Don't be stupid. Shut the fuck up. I'm so sick of that. Shut up. You don't know the lore. You don't know shit. Get the fuck out. Sorry. I'm so sick of hearing that. I know what I'm talking about. I know the game better than you. I've been playing it probably longer than you, and I probably have more models than you. Shut up. Calling me stupid. Anyway. The Blightbringer. He's an elite. Movement of 5, weapon ballistic skill of 3+, strength of 4, toughness of 5, wounds of 4, attacks 4, leadership 8, save 3+. He has a plasma pistol for some reason. I really like plasma pistols. And let's see, he's got the Cursed Plague Bell, which is a melee weapon now. It's kind of interesting. Strength user, so strength 4, AP -1, 2 damage, and it's a plague weapon. Don't really see the use of this guy. Let's see what his abilities are. Some vitality. When a friendly plague company core or plague company threatened unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time this unit is selected to make a normal attack, a normal move, or advanced until the end of that phase, add 1 to the movement characteristic of that unit. So he adds 1 to move and advance. That's kind of okay. Let's see. When an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this model, subtract 1 from the combat attrition test taken. That's really good. Ooh, those stack. Because it doesn't say a unit with this ability. So when an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this model, subtract 1 from combat attrition test taken for that unit. That's it. Like, it doesn't say, ooh, that could be dirty. That needs to be FAQ'd. When an enemy psychic unit is within 6 inches of this model, subtract 1 from psychic test taken. Are you like are you a solo model? Heretic is already Sith card. The Harbingers is equipped with a plasma pistol, cursed bell, and light grenades and frag and crack grenades. Whoa. Okay, let's see. What is the chat saying? Seriously, Marines shouldn't be as tough as Marines. I don't think Sisters of Battle would be tough. You know what? Fuck you. You're being banned. I don't even care at this point. You're gone. Bye, user. Bye. Bye-bye. Anyway. So even if Sisters are T4 with 1 wound, is that still not as durable? No, that's actually perfect. The 2 wounds is actually perfect for representing what Astartes actually have as their augments. Because if you're shot in the head, you're still killed. But still tougher than a normal person. Yes, exactly. See, you get my point. T4 1 wound should be the normal stats for Sisters. Agreed. Alexis, will you ever do gameplay of Eternal Crusade? No. Sisters are pretty cool. I like how dramatic their models look. Yeah, they do look amazing. Since Marines have 2 wounds, Sisters at T4 would be fine since they have 1 wound. Greetings from Germany. Well, hello. Does not play, but interested in the game mechanics and love the lore. Oh, cool. I think T4 for AdMech would be too much with their invulnerable save of 6++. I don't. AdMech need a little bit of a boost. Remember, folks, this is the Lex show. I guess you're trying to insult me with that. Power armor should be min T4. It actually should. And this applies to all power armor. This would apply to Sisters of Silence. This would apply to Inquisitors. This would apply to characters in power armor. That would apply to everything. They should just have T4. T4, 3+. That's it. Okay. So I could see people bringing 3... bringing 3 Blightbringers if they're not a unique model. Oh, thank you for the donation. I'll donate 100 for the Guardsman army. I have 10 Guardsmen currently. That would be a lot. Isn't T3 with 3+ and 5++, they are fairly tough. They're not. As somebody who's been playing them since 5th edition, Sisters are not tough, they're easy to kill. You just bolt or spam them and they die. Foul Blight Spawn, what do you do? Putrefying Stink. At the start of the fight phase, you can select one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model. That unit is not eligible to fight until after all eligible units in your army have done so. Ooh. I don't think that's good, though. Unholy Death's Hand Grenade. Ha, that's the opposite of the Holy Hand Grenade of Antiarch or something like that. Grenade 2d6, strength 5, AP -1, blast weapon. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. And a Plague Sprayer. You're actually pretty decent, but I don't think I would take you. I like this Blightbringer a little bit better. Their aura is actually kind of crazy. $100 are 2 tanks. No chance. Alright. Let's see. The Biologist Putrefier. So far I'm seeing that Bell is really good. Always strike the last aura near Morty would be insane. So it's only against units within 3 inches of him, but you can boost the aura. So it's actually pretty decent, but if you're going against Mortarion, you're just pushing something against him just to hold him for a turn. If not, throwing Assault Terminators against him. Should we take plot armor into account for toughness? Yes, we should. Freaking, so many Marines would just be invincible. Actually, pretty much every character, named character, would be invincible. Alright, what do you do? Blight Rack. When a friendly Bubonic Astartes unit is within 6 inches of this model, Blight Grenade models in that unit are equipped with have an armor penetration characteristic of -1 and damage characteristic of 2. Damn, he's good. Anything that ups damage to 2 is amazing. Like, especially right now. Putrid Explosion. When this model is destroyed, roll a d6 on a 4+, it explodes. And non-Nurgle units within 6 inches suffer 1 mortal wound. So this guy is way too good. Foul Infusion. Once per turn at the start of either your charge phase or your fight phase, you can select one friendly Plague Company core unit within 6 inches of this model until the end of your next command phase. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack with a plague weapon, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound. What is up with them and mortal wounds like crazy? They just strictly do mortal wounds. This is insanity. Like, and you don't even need these guys to shoot. You just need them to stand there. Like, if you're doing actions, you use these guys. Plague Surgeon. At the end of your movement phase, this model can heal 1 Bubonic Astartes unit, Astartes infantry model, whose unit is within 3 inches of it. That model regains D3 lost wounds. Each model can be healed only once per turn. Tainted Noctisium. When a friendly Bubonic Astartes infantry unit is within 3 inches of this model. Each time a model would lose a wound on a 6+, the wound is not lost. So, yeah, Plague Surge, all of their elites are good, but which one would I actually take? The Teleman gets your command points back, but I don't think I would take him. I don't really like him too much. The Biologist Putrefier is really good. The Plague Surgeon is also really good. So is that Blightbringer for just spamming what he can do for that combat attrition test. But I think the Blightbringer might be the worst. Starting your fight phase. I think what you want to bring is like not one of each, but at least 2 of each. The other thing the Teleman does is really good. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, that add 1 to their movement characteristic and assault characteristic, and his 2 aura abilities are, honestly, all 3 of his aura abilities are really good, especially if you put it next to a Lord who can actually boost his aura abilities. The Death Guard was not a nerf, not even a little. It kind of was. I'm seeing the nerfs in here. Like, they're not as resilient as they used to be. So, Marines will just rip right through these guys. Especially being that their average wounds are 2. Yeah, their average wounds are actually like 3. So, they're going to need, like, Meltaguns to deal with these. So a tier 1 army like Space Marines will rip through these guys pretty quickly, but they'll also rip through Space Marines really quickly. So it really determines, and I need to see this played out a few dozen times, but it really the real determination is who goes and gets midfield first. If Space Marines get midfield and the Death Guard are forced back, then the Death Guard lose. But if the Death Guard get midfield, the Death Guard might actually win. Like, that's just a given. They might actually be able to win. Personally, I think I would bring a Plague Surgeon. I really like anything that just gives me an ability to just resurrect a dude every turn. I'd also probably bring the Biologist Putrefier. I like him. I like the idea of just running him in and exploding. I like his abilities. But I also like the Blight Spawn. Oh, that's so many points, though. Like, that's a lot of points to go through. And then you need your Blight Lord Terminators, because these guys are insanely good. Honestly, what weapons would I give them? I wouldn't give them the Reaper Autocannon, because that thing's just useless. I'd probably give them the Plague Spear. Heavy D6, Strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage, rerolling wounds. Auto hitting. That's really good. Although the Blight Launcher is also really good. God, these guys are just insane. Toughness 5, and the fact that they can just spill over wounds, so you want to max out the damage that they have, which looks like giving them Flails of Corruption is actually a really good idea. Giving them the Blight Launcher is a really good idea. Giving them the close combat weapons is just really, really freaking good. Death Shroud Terminators, are you guys any good? Weapon skill 2+, so you don't need to boost these guys. It's kind of cool that both of these are in Kitty Cat Terminator armor. Toughness 5, wounds 3, 4 attacks apiece, 3 attacks apiece, 5 attacks with their dude. Ooh. These guys are also really good. But I think, I honestly think I would go with shooting Terminators over anything else. They do have that pistol attack, but I don't think that's worth it. I think the Blightlord Terminators are just better than the Death Shroud, it feels like. T5 is significant. Yes, it is. It is definitely significant. T5 is actually like a really big thing in this game. T3 means that you're too weak to actually compete. T4 means that you're perfect and you're at a balanced level. T5 is just good. T8 is just ridiculous. Hellbrutes, I probably, even with their abilities, I probably wouldn't take them. I'm glad that Death Guard got possessed. That's really freaking cool. I'm sorry, I really like possessed, and the fact that they're in here and their strength and toughness 5 is amazing. And the fact that they have disgustingly resilient, they're just good. Like, you probably want 3 guys to support the Blight Lords. Yeah, I was actually thinking more like 5 characters, 6 characters per list is looking like the average. Chaos Spawn being in here is just kind of cool. I like that. Let's see. Oh my god, look at the adorable little Roomba. I love this thing so much. The little evil Roomba. Let's see, are you just as good as you used to be? Movement 10, ballistic and weapon skill 3+, strength 6, toughness 7, so you're ridiculously good. Wounds 9, you're ridiculously good so far. 4 attacks for no reason. Leadership 8, 3+ save. Yeah, you're ridiculously good. There is no reason not to take these things. These are probably the best demon engines in the game. The Malefic Blight Haulers are just fantastic. You want to take them with multi-meltas and missile launchers and just run them at your opponent. Each time a model in this unit is destroyed, roll a d6 before removing it. On a 4+, it explodes. And models that are not Nurgle suffer 1 mortal wound. Has a 5-up invulnerable save, and it lost its ability to shroud itself. Wait, nope, there it is. Each time a melee attack is made against this unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So it no longer gets that from ranged weapons, but that's fine. It just means it'll die a little bit quicker, because these things were indestructible. I remember fighting about 9 of these things at once, and they were just impossible to kill. Can normal possessed use rhinos? I thought Death Guard possessed couldn't fit in rhinos. Yeah, they can use rhinos. And the floated blight drone, one of the biggest things is the plague, where is it? The lawnmower thingy. The flesh mower is strength +1, so it's strength 7, AP -2, 2 damage. It's actually worth taking now as a melee option. And to be honest, I probably would throw a melee weapon on this thing because I would be rushing it at my opponent. And again, you want like 3 really fast vehicles to get like table quarters and things like that. So it's kind of worth it. Feels like you want Gons, you want Trevagons to make a higher number and win points. Use Kraken. You don't want to take Trevagons ever. They're garbage. They're not even worth looking at. Alright, so then we have the Plague Burst Crawler. And then we have some Land Raiders, some Predators. So the Plague Burst Crawler, you can only take 1 in the squad. They have the... Don't mind me, just dying. Choking on my own spit. I'm good. Let's see... Cannon is heavy 1, 36-inch range, strength 8, AP -4, D3 +3 damage, and it's a plague weapon. That's insane. What is this thing equipped with? The mortar and 2 entropy cannons. Damn, this thing is insane. Heavy slugger, heavy 4, strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage. Plague burst mortar. 48-inch range, heavy D6, strength 8, AP -2, 2 damage, blast weapon, plague weapon. This can target units that are not visible, so no real change there. I think it's changes in its points. What's kitty cat armor? Cataphracti. I call it kitty cat armor because it literally has the ears on all of them, and it's adorable. It's mostly a joke that the creators made for it, and I think it's hilarious, the fact that they have kitty cat armor and tortilla armor. Let's see. I have a volley gun as well. This model's 2 entropy cannons can be replaced with the plague spitters, which I wouldn't do because I like the range of 36 inches. It has a 5+ invulnerable save because it's a demon, and it explodes and causes D3 mortal wounds to 6 inches around it. Overall, the Plague Burst Crawler is just really good. Chaos Line Raider. It's a Chaos Line Raider. Don't take Chaos Line Raiders if you can take the Plague Burst Crawler. Predator Annihilator, it's an Annihilator. Destructor is a Destructor. Defiler. Let's go into the Defiler. Infernal Regeneration. In your command phase, you regain 1 lost wound. Demonic has 5+ info save. Explodes. Okay. Defiler is equipped with a Defiler Cannon, Reaper Autocannon, Twin Heavy Flamer, and a Defiler's Claws. Okay, but nothing really big change. The Defiler Cannon is still 72 inches. Strength 8, AP -2, 3 damage, and blast. The Havoc Launcher, if you take it, is bad. Reaper Autocannon is still bad. The Twin Heavy Bolter is good. The Twin Heavy Flamethrower is okay. Twin Las Cannon is amazing. This thing's hitting on 3+, so it's actually worth taking. Defiler Claws are really good, and the Defiler Scourge is Strength plus too much, so you don't need it. Okay. Defilers seem pretty good. I like Defilers. Defilers lack a bunch of keywords. Let's see. Chaos Nurgle, Heretic Astartes, Death Guard, Plague Company, so they do benefit from that. Vehicle, Demon, Demon Engine, Smokescreen. Wow, they have Smokescreen. That's pretty good. And Defiler. My voice is starting to give now. Which really sucks. Alright, I always had a soft spot for Defilers. I always thought they were really good, but very situational. And they're horrifying. Like, Defilers are one of the scariest models in all of 40k. And honestly, I think taking one in a... taking one is definitely worth it with 2 Plague Burst Crawlers. Because the Defiler actually looks scary. And if you advance that thing up with the rest of your army, it's actually horrifying. Like, it's honestly, it's terrifying to see. Chaos Rhinos are Chaos Rhinos. No real note there. All right, Mortarion. And then you have the totally normal, definitely not something that you can use in certain states. Terrain piece. Yeah. Oh god, they give Defiler Smokescreen. Yeah, I think it's actually worth it. Like, I think a Defiler might actually be worth it. Alright, let's read the Moron. Alright, movement of 12. Really? That's it? Okay. Can you warp time him anymore? I guess you could. Yeah, you can warp time him, right? I feel like warp time is the basic Chaos Codex. And that you might be able to get warp time. Feels more Tzeentchian, though. Honestly, it actually feels more like Slaanesh. Slaanesh should have warp time, but whatever. Do we have warp time? No, you can't warp time Mortarion. That's a huge nerf. Okay, weapon and ballistic skill 2+, strength toughness 8, wounds 18, attack 7, leadership 10, 3+ armor save, and then he has a deteriorating stat line. He goes from movement from 12 to 10 to 8. His weapon and ballistic skills stay the same. Strength toughness stays the same. His attacks go from 7 to 6 to 5, and that's it. I find it weird that Mortarion is a psyker since he hates them. Yeah, but he's a psyker. Okay, the Lantern. I bet he's a Green Lantern. Anyway, each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a straight line between the closest point of this model's base or hull and the closest model in the target unit. Make 1 wound roll against the target unit, and each other unit this line passes over. All right, so it's 12-inch range, strength, pistol 1, strength 8, AP 3, 3 damage. So more than likely just pop like 2 models with that. A guardsman it is, and a Baneblade. I can do that. I have the Baneblade. He's a Demon Prince. His preference stopped mattering a long time ago. He hates psychers because he is one, and he's never come to terms with it. He has. I mean, Yes, he does, but also because of that. Too much Warhammer 40k memes. Alright, then he has his claws and teeth, which are his melee weapons. It's really funny that he bites you. Okay. Each time the bearer fights, it makes d6 additional attacks with this weapon. Okay, that's pretty good. So it's a plague weapon. And then he has Silence, which has 2 profiles. It's either strength times 2, so strength 16, AP minus 4, d3 plus 3 damage. Plague weapon, that's it. Or he has the Reaping Scythe, which is strength 8, AP minus 2, 1 damage. And each time an attack is made with this weapon's profile, make 3 attack rolls instead of 1. So 3 attacks at 7, 14, 21 attacks, which is really good. Then he has a Phosphex Bomb, because of course he has a Phosphex Bomb. Okay. Discussing the Resilient, Contagion of Nurgle. Let's see. Primarch of the Death Guard. In your command phase, select 1 friendly Death Guard core or Death Guard character unit within 6 inches of this model. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit rolls. Okay. Lord of the Death Guard Aura. He re-rolls hits of 1 for Death Guard core infantry. Demon Primarch. If your army is Battleforged, this model must be your army's warlord. Okay. If more than 1 model in your army has rules to this effect, then one of these models must be your army's warlord. The Barbarian Plate. He has a 4+ Invo save. Host of the Plagues. At the start of your first battle round, select one of the following warlord traits, which is all 6 of them. You can select a warlord trait that is another model in your army is already using until the end of the battle. This model gains the selected warlord trait in addition to any others that it has, even if it is not your warlord. Putrid Explosion. This model is destroyed. Roll 1d6 before removing it. On a 4+, it explodes and deals d3 mortal wounds to non-Nurgle units within 6 inches. Toxic Presence. This model counts the battle round numbers of being 4 for the purposes of determining the contagion results. Okay, so everything is weaker to him. He's got a 9-inch aura. He's got pretty much any and all warlord traits that he wants. He gets 3 of them, which is pretty decent. Let's see, where's the warlord traits? I skipped the psychic powers. Warlord traits. So, what would I give him? Show me warlord would lose a wound. On a 5+, it's not lost. I would definitely give him revoltingly resilient. That goes without saying. I would give him hulking physique. Just give him that extra wound. And possibly add 1 to toughness characteristic. Probably rotted constitution. So his toughness would go up to 9, so he shrugs off las cannons. He gets 4 warlord traits. Okay, and then he gets his own, doesn't he? Oh, Mortarion has to take Revoltingly Resilient, Living Plague, Arch Contaminator. Okay, so he actually has them selected, which is okay because... Alright, that's okay. Revoltingly Resilient is one I would take. Living Plague is not one I would take, but you have to. And then Arch Contaminator, or where's Living Plague? When an enemy unit is within 3 inches of your warlord, that unit cannot be affected by aura abilities. That's okay. And then Arch Contaminator, and then he gets 1 more, it looks like. He has 3 set and gets to take 1. Yeah, so I would probably take hulking physique. Like, why would you not take hulking physique so he can't be wounded on a wound roll of a 4 or less? That way, the only thing that can take him on is... why do so many people already have this codex? Well, it's because I work at a game store. Is he good? This is actually a legit question. This is actually like a legit question. Is Mortarion actually good? So with a 12-inch movement, that means turn 2 he's getting into combat, and he has no abilities that allow him to move, advance, and charge. So Mortarion is very hard to take down. I kind of disagree. He actually feels even easier to take down than before. Let's see, you up his toughness to 9, which is going to be very hard to kill him with most things, but most armies nowadays are taking a lot of anti-tank to deal with Space Marines. So you're looking at, let's see. Actually, let's just go over one of my army lists. In fact, it's an army list for a battle report that's coming up, and determine whether or not I can kill him turn 1. And for purposes, we're going to assume that Mortarion went first. Okay, so he's already moved up his 12 inches, so there's 24 inches between us. Now there's 12, okay? So this is a list that I took earlier. I had a Canoness with an Infernal pistol. I had 30 Battle Sisters, 4 Meltaguns. I had 2 squads of Retributors with 4 Multi-Meltas. And I had 2 Exorcists with the Exorcist Cannon. So the Exorcist Cannon on average is dealing 7 shots. It's not getting anything minus to hit him, and it's wounding on 5s. It rerolls 1s to hits and 1s to wounds because I have Canonesses and Junith in the army. So I'm guaranteeing at least 4 hits and 3 wounds on him. Guaranteeing, it's actually a guarantee of 2. His save is a 3+, which goes to a 6, which goes to his invulnerable save of 4+. The average on a d6 is 4, so he's saving one of those. So he's taking d6 damage, and we're going to say 3. So I already hit him for 3 damage. With just one Exorcist on average is dealing 3 damage to him. So that's already 6 damage, and then we could just go to 12 damage, and then we can go up to 16 damage. We have to throw pretty much everything at him, but we can kill him turn 1 with just the list that I have. Take him with the Mortarion Anvil Warlord trait. Okay, so Warlord traits. Mortarion's Anvil. Mortarion has... So yeah, I still think he's... Damage 3, -1, yeah, damage 2, so it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 damage on average, saving on a 5+, because of resultingly resilient, so it's going to drop it down to about 7 a turn, so he'll survive the first turn unless I assault him. And that's not even factoring in, like, psychic abilities, not of my sisters, obviously, but I think he's really good. He's definitely good. I'm not saying he is bad, but I don't think he's an auto-include. That's what I'm getting at. And for 25 command points, like, or 25 power levels, what is his points at? Let's take a look. Mortarion is almost 500 points. Mortarion is 490 points. That's a quarter of your army. 490 points. But it's worth it. Shooting everything at Mortarion is just like a distraction. Carnifex? Not in this case. It would be like, it's why people are starting to realize the Nightbringer is not worth his points because of how quickly he dies. If this was one edition ago where Space Marines were only damage 1 and things of that nature, I think Mortarion is good. Is what I'm getting at, but he's not an auto-include. Honestly, I think I wouldn't include him in my army. He was 470 before that. Yeah, and he wasn't worth it at 470. Like, the only list that took Mortarion was Demon Circus. And that was 3 Imperial Knights, Mortarion, and Magnus. And that was like one of the best lists. If he was a bit less expensive, it would be better. If he was at, like, if he was 40 points less, I think he'd be good. Because I think the rest of the army is also super expensive around him. Let's take a look. Let's see. Your Death Guard Chaos Lord is at 85, and then you have his upgrades. The other one's at 105. Your Death Guard Demon Prince is sitting at 140. Giving him wings is putting him almost over 200. Your Death Guard Sorcerer is looking at 110. Your Lord of Contagion is 120. Your other Lord is 120. The Malignant Plague Caster is 95. Typhus is 165. Your Cultists are only 5 points. Your Plague Marines are 21 points apiece, so at 5 you're looking at over 100 points for them. Your Terminators are 40 points before weapons. You're not taking Possess, your Death Shroud Terminators you're not taking. Foul Blight Spawn are probably not being taken. Hellbirds are not taken. Let's see. There's the Blight Hauler at 140. Oof. At 140, I don't think he's worth it either. People are talking about increasing his points already. I mean, I doubt it. Like, Blood Angels will rip him apart. Like, there is no question. Blood Angels will kill him turn 1. You'd have Blight Lords and Death Shrouds right up to the last one. Blight Drone's probably with him. Yeah, I'm thinking about like all the lists that I would do. I'm not saying he's bad. I think at 500 points he's a bit costly. And it really depends on what the rest of the army actually does. Because I could just ignore him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he's got nothing that's actually scary. So this is gonna sound weird. Mortarion's a lot like the Nightbringer. If I could just goat him around, I don't need to be worried about him at all. Also, for some reason, my camera decided to not focus. I don't know why. I watched a bat rep earlier where Mortarion shredded a bunch of Blood Angels. Yes, because those types of bat reps are designed to show off the Death Guard. I can call in a favor and get a few Death Guard players in and show you that they're not good. I could just bring one of my tournament lists and run train on them. Just watched him kill a whole Harlequin army today. How? Harlequin save on a 4-up. Like, honestly, even with 21 attacks, he's killing one troop a turn, and then the troop is going to run train on him. At the head of the Death Guard, advance Mortarion is devastating. He moves 12 inches, advances 3 inches to 4 inches, and sits there for a turn, getting shot by everything in the opponent's army. At 500 points, what would be better? Mortarion or 2 to 3 tanks? I honestly think the 2 to 3 tanks. Honestly, it looks like most of the Death Guard might be best kitted. Don't know how possible that is. I don't know what you mean by best kitted. At 500 points though, Mortarion, and you have to take a separate detachment to take him. He becomes your warlord, so you lose a bunch of abilities. I also don't know why my camera is being weird. I do apologize about that. But at 500 points, damn. Let's see. You're not taking that big of an army behind him. So it's really weird to see. Like, you can't do, honestly, 500 points. So you're looking at a 1,500 point list without him, which is pretty decent. You're moving up the field, but you sit out in the open. That's the biggest thing. Staying at maximum range and leading in a circle around the map. Yeah, but I mean, I'll just feed him. He survived 22 fusion shots, only took like 2 to 4 wounds then. Okay, so in other words, you saw a statistical anomaly. Kite him around. Sorry for the game spoilers, by the way. I don't really watch too many battle reports. I only watch ones with entertaining people. But let's see. How would I... Like, my Space Marine list would have no problems with him. My Demon list would have a lot of problems with him. I mean, the first thing I would do is I would rush him with a bunch of Keepers of Secrets, and I would kill the thing that's making me fight last, and just rip through Mortarion pretty quickly while I just regain wounds. Don't think Keepers deal enough damage. I know Tyranids couldn't beat them. 500 points. I'm bringing 2 Herodins. Or 2 Heroduals. That's my biggest thing. Is like... I mean, what happens if this guy goes up against something else that's 500 points? I think my Craft World would struggle, but would be pretty good against him. Yeah, to be honest, you reroll to hit, reroll to wound, hit him with hit him with just Meltas or Flamer or the D-Scythes, and you would probably rip through him pretty quickly. A Space Marine list would be fine. That's my biggest thing, is a Space Marine list would be fine against him. So, yeah, like, I don't know. I have to see more of him and how an army is built around him to determine whether or not if he is good at 500 points. And yes, I am going to say 500 because he's 490 points. He's basically 500. But overall, I'm actually really impressed with the survivability of this codex. I think it's really, 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 really good. And honestly, I think this is going to be a tier 2, tier 3 book. So, like, yeah, I really do think that this is going to be a solid book. Killer Bunny. Like, the biggest thing is that he can't warp time. That's what made him good originally. But now that he's just going, he's taking line, which is 10 inches, going 12 inches, then going 3.58 inches, so 3 inches to 4 inches, means that he's sitting out in the open in the middle of the field and taking literally everything your opponent can throw at him. And trust me, they're going to throw everything at him. And a counter assault army like a Space Wolf army or a Blood Angel army is going to destroy him. I'm actually interested in the mortal wound shenanigans, as well as the other strategy that I saw in there, which I think is one that's going to be absolutely devastating, is this one. Where, because this desperately needs to get FAQ'd immediately. The Blightbringer, this guy with the -1 aura ability, the fact that it just stacks, so that's 3 -1s to a test, so you just need to kill 2 Marines to automatically fail a Marine's test. Because they're failing on a 5, so it's a 1, 2, and 3. But then you lower their morale with your HQ, and then you lower their morale again with another ability in the book. I saw it earlier. You can get a total of -5 on your opponent's leadership test and boost the aura with your Warlord trait. So it's ridiculously scary, the leadership shenanigans you can do in that. So I'm interested to see a bunch of different playstyles, and I actually want to see this more from Americans, because Americans actually know how to play aggressively versus, and I'm not saying British people can't play aggressively, but the EU versus the US, it's always US is super hyper aggressive versus EU, which is more passive when it's playstyle. The worst thing in that codex is the HQ section, as you can only have 1 Lord, so you have to take a bunch of Psyker/Plaguecasters. I think that's fine. Like, honestly, I would anyway. But what I think the worst is that you're spending over 230 points minimum on your HQs. So right off the bat, with just 2 HQs for your battalion and Mortarion, you're already at 750. Easy. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me on this. I do apologize about losing my voice halfway through this. It's a dry time of season, and it always like hits me really hard. But guys, look at this. Do you see this button right over here? It's called the subscribe button. Click it. Click it. And click that bell thingy. It's stupid, but you know, the Blightbringer is pretty good, so click that bell for him. He'll make you happy. And check out all the links in the description down below. There you can follow me on all sorts of social media. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not doing anything on TikTok yet. I'm thinking about doing things on TikTok. TikTok looks super awesome. And also, I want to thank everybody for donating and all my patrons. You guys make this all happen. I got a new webcam because of you guys, which is super awesome, and I'm super excited about it. As always, I'm NornQueen.